Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play LSD. I'm your host CPC Gamer, and in our last episode, the game decided to be recursive and link me to the map that I was already in several times over. And sometimes, I'd be pretty grateful for that. Like, if I was trying to explain something about the map or whatever, but no. No, I was just rambling on playing the game as I do. So today, we begin in Kyoto. We had a pretty good look at Kyoto in the last episode too. Had a blood-red sky, it was awesome. And I resisted every urge within my body to start talking like the Ultimate Warrior. Something that I will continue to resist now. Good job, CPC Gamer. Not sure what I am going to do. Maybe taking the beautiful view or something. Because to me, this particular skybox always looks like... I don't know how to describe it. The bit just after dawn but before the morning? Like, whatever the early morning version of the twilight hour would be. Wait, no, scratch that thought. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go this way and test my theory that the Grey Man always spawns in the Kyoto linking tunnels. For whatever reason. Ooh. You're looking a little rough around the edges there, linking tunnel. That's pretty bad for what is an oblong, one of the easiest shapes to make in a 3D modelling suite. Alright, you coming for me, Grey Man? I thought that the Sphinx was you for a moment there, but it appears you are not. Excellent. I can now continue with my thought process entirely uninterrupted. Thinking of that very early morning skybox thing, it's weird because it puts me in mind of something very specific. And I don't know why. It reminds me of... like, you're staying at somebody else's house, it's the morning, and you're awake before they are. You're downstairs, and you're just wandering around their house without anyone else being there. Don't ask why, because I don't know, but that's what I'm reminded of. Of what I am reminded. And I guess none of my friends are going to show up today. Neither Lady Zeppelin nor Baron von Z stretching. The two Zs, I call them. Zachary and... I'm glad Lady Zeppelin showed up because I can't think of a girl's name. But Zoe! Yes, I can because it's Zoe. Zone of the Enders. Wait a second. You guys excuse me while I... Yep, there it is. There's a dead pixel in the sky. Wonder why the game does that. I'm thinking about it, it's probably just a cloud image rendered really far away or really small. I don't know. I'm gonna go take a look at the Houses of Parliament. I mean, I'm glad the Zeppelin's there, but it takes... Is Victoria Tower see-through? Probably just a bug with the floor thing. Anyway, it takes a while for the ship to land, so let's take a seat and push on without it. Oh, and this lets me finish a thought I began in the last one of videos. I like seeing people apply outside logic to particular game engines. Like in Minecraft, people build chairs out of some steps and signs and then just mash the hitboxes into it. Wasn't that worth the wait? Not really, no. And that's something I feel I'll be saying about the payoff to this game now that I come to think about it. Oh, by the way, yeah, someone asked this on one of the last batch of videos. This game actually does have an ending. Day 365 is a unique video that is otherwise never shown during gameplay, like beyond which the game resets. And it's not quite what you'd expect from an ending to a video game. Like, it's not saving the world or rescuing the princess or whatever, but it's a pretty fun ending. At least it is an ending. I grew up with CPC games. Most of those just sort of kept going until you died. It's weird, I wonder when I stopped being as hyped for completing games as I used to. Because with the CPC, the Mega Drive and all that, I would get crazy amounts of excited when I got to the end. Now it's like, neat. Why are you screaming at me now when you made that wobbly sound earlier? Can't be related to the direction I'm facing, can it? I suppose it can, because there's plenty of NPCs in the game that only react when you're in front of them, for example, so... yeah. It's gonna get out of your way, creepazoid. Always bugs me how you can see through the back of his legs when you're behind him. It's because they didn't texture the inside of the model, so when you see the inside of the model, there's no data to show. There was this really awkward point in gaming about the... Where did the bear go? Game's doing a lot of that today, popping stuff in and out when the camera's not looking. It's pretty weird, even for this game. And that's a couple times now the bear's just sort of blipped in and out of existence. Like the other time it did it when it was through the wall. Yeah. Oh! Camera just snapped too, that wasn't great. Oh yeah, I remember what I was talking about. There was this one point in video games around the Xbox era where you could move the camera inside the play character and just see their eyes and teeth floating in the middle of nowhere. That is a fallacious sentence. One must be somewhere to be in the middle of it. And why did you snap me to the stairs earlier, but I had to wrestle with you to get upstairs that time? More the fool me for actually expecting internal consistency from this thing. I suppose it is internally consistent because it keeps changing? It's a weird quantum mechanics thing, I don't even know. Let's go see the woman in bed. This is something else that appears in the book, incidentally. There's an entry that talks about someone who died, but her house keeps on growing and growing around her all the time. It's a cute dream. And kind of a shame that she isn't there, really. It would let me continue this thought without having to suddenly change it up a gear and start talking about something else. Hopefully the third floor is going to have something awesome. The third floor is where the giant man in the room lives. Because, you know, that has worked out just so well for me in the past. Okay, assumes their position. Begins a search. I like how I do this automatically. Like I'm a robot. Or something like that. Alright, do you have anything? Ooh, indeed you do. It's that guy. Man, it was my birthday recently, and one of my friends made a special birthday card for me, which was basically just that guy saying, "Happy birthday, Andy." And it was the second best birthday wish I ever got, after this one time when one of my friends, a boxer and a fighter by his trade, got me a robot butler that said, "Happy birthday, Andy." Or maybe I fell asleep watching Rocky IV last night. You decide! Oh. Hey, little ghosty. Do you remember the time that I beat Ivan Drago? Well, actually, come to think about it, most of the Rocky movies don't follow the Rocky rule. If you weren't aware, the Rocky rule says that the winner doesn't necessarily win. Like in Rocky 1, he's the hero of the movie, even though he lost the big fight. But after that, they kind of ignore that and go with a more traditional outcome. I kind of thought that you two aren't doing anything. I mean, it could be worse. You could be, you know, locking my controls again. Thank you, game. Tell you what, it's hard to fill up time when you're waiting for something to happen. It is even worse when nothing is happening and you are locked in place waiting for your controls to come back to you. I wonder what this text says, incidentally. Okay. Oh! Hey, my controls came back! Probably for the best, because I was about to say the writing's not on the wall with this one, and that's not even a good pun. You see what you've reduced me to, game? I'm thinking of third-rate puns that are effectively just describing the things that are in front of me. Anyway, I'm going to go see if anyone's hanging around in the parking lot. And that one was not a planned pun, but that was a horrible one nonetheless. So, shut up. I'm going to roll with it. And it's appropriate that we're on the topic of bad puns in a Japanese game, given that Japanese humour is generally noted for having excruciatingly bad puns. And really weird sexual situations. I can't think of a single other show where enforced transgenderism is played for laughs on a routine basis. Sorry, got distracted. Pretty sure that crash barrier is always up there on the top, but I only really notice it in this tile set. And possibly because of the bright colours jump out in the dark sky, while it just kind of bleeds in with the other wacky tile sets that come around. And that's one of the advantages of having textured items mixed in with flat coloured objects. Like, the textured stuff really hangs out. Or stands out like a dead body on a lamppost. I'm just gonna drop the audio a bit, let you take a quick listen to this. You can just about hear it. There's a bell chiming in the background. And there is... yeah, to me, that denotes that you found the woman like this, and she was long dead before you arrived. I don't know why, but the ringing bell doesn't say, she just did this, but you just found this. And somehow that makes it even worse. I think it's a case of immediacy, you know? Like, if you see a murder, you know right away, that guy just got shot. But if you find a body, anything could have happened. And your mind takes over and it fills in the worst details. I mean, I've never seen a murder or anything, but I think I'd sooner do that than find a dead body. I think. I mean, I never really thought about it, but... I mean, to go back to my favourite thought experiment, if I had to pick a broken leg or a broken neck, certainly know what I'd go for. It'd make for a pretty lousy ghost, mind you. I mean, broken neck is one of the best designs in Fatal Frame, and she and her theme tune still send chills down my spine. Not entirely sure why it's in my playlist, to be honest with you. I forget if I talked about this one. Fatal Frame 2 includes about the best implementation of jiggle physics that I've ever seen. Like, it's usually reserved for breasts, but in the remake of Fatal Frame 2, they use it for Broken Neck's head. Like, it bounces and flops around with every step that she takes, and it looks really good. And it's right out of the uncanny valley. And I'm gonna go this way, see if the scenery's gonna stretch up again. Always fun when this happens, like, feeling small and all that. I just noticed there are way more buildings out here than you'd think. Because, like, the Violence District looks like it's going to be entirely empty or whatever, but... loads of architecture and dead bodies. That's pretty grim. Thank goodness the game decided I don't need to see any more of this, so I can move on and do something else. Yeah, let's take a step back in this conversation. No more talk of bodies. I picked up the remake of Fatal Frame 2 for the Wii. Bit of a letdown, because they took out all the developers' ghosts. I mean, it makes sense, because there was a new development team, but it meant that I didn't know where any of the dev ghosts were. I mean, I played the game for my channel. I had a hell of a time finding most of them when I did know where they were. Changing their positions around without telling anyone, that was a collection of spanners in my works. It is a shame, because I like developer ghosts as a concept. It's a shame there's only like a small handful of games that implement it. And actually, outside of the Fatal Frame series, I can only think of Metal Gear Solid that did that. And it's surprising how subtly creepy it was, given that Hideo Kojima is usually as subtle as a brick isn't. And that's why Silent Hills is probably going to suck out of control. I don't want to go into it, because it's going to date this video pretty hardcore, and I try to keep everything as timeless as I can, but... I've arrived at this topic, I might as well go on the tangent while I can. I could be wrong. It's happened before. Like precisely once, in an incident that we refer to only as the incident. Like, you have to have a little pause before you say it, and you have to go wide-eyed as you do. Very important part of the process that sadly doesn't come across in the particular medium through which I'm delivering it. And I guess this guy's not going to show up. Man, me and my demanding nature, asking the game to do stuff it is meant to do while I show it off for guys on the internet. And given the chance, I'd have different buildings on each side of the railings. I mean, no reason, beyond giving it a little bit more variety and maybe indicating what side you can expect to see things. Like, you know, advice for the inevitable guy who writes the wiki page or writes the game FAQs file or something like that. And now as I come to think about it, there's an entry in the Dream Diary that talks about a towering pagoda. But on the other hand, it says it's in the middle of a forest, not a city like that. Also, this is the last episode of LSD, because 255 is the highest number in the world, and there's nothing after that. I mean, the game does play. Mind, it just falls apart. That was a pretty oblique one, Andy. You get a gold star. Which is actually a chocolate star wrapped in gold foil, but don't tell anyone that. I mean, certainly don't say it on the internet in front of all your viewers like that. Who knows who's watching these videos? Ooh, maybe it's Suda51. He seems like the kind of crazy Japanese weirdo who'd watch junk like this in his downtime. Oh, and this is super good looking. Kyoto's burning and I'm stuck in the middle of a housing district. I never really come here very often, do I? Possibly because I'm always worried about the grey man, like he's gonna jump out at me at any minute, and I'll only know it as he slinks out from behind a house, or something like that. I mean, I've often said that some of the best enemy behaviour predicts what you're gonna do, and doesn't just attack relentlessly. Oh, what do you know, I was just over here. Yeah, that housing complex goes back a lot further than I thought. And since the face man isn't here, I'm gonna keep exploring Kyoto to see what it's like. You know, I'm looking at the grey draw distance, trying to make it into fog, but, I mean, fog is generally more white and not grey. And it's weird, because when the draw distance is white, it looks like everywhere is just dazzlingly bright and glowy. Shiny! The word you are looking for is shiny, Andrew. Anyways, I'm gonna go to the little house to my right. Maybe the... Wait a second. I see something. Kinda hard to tell the fog and all. Clearly the best thing to do is to walk towards it and see what it does. Although, I guess nothing was there. I'm gonna get into position, try this again. I'm gonna link with the Kyoto woman over there. Oh, I remember this music. We're in the Monument Park. Not sure how I remember that. Of the various tracks in the game that I remember, this isn't either of them. Yeah, I said either. There's only really two that I can hum at any given time. Oh, wow, okay. Oh, no stretching. Oh, it is! Awesome! Now we get, like, Lady Von Zeppelin and Professor QZ stretching, whatever I said their names were. I don't remember the names of my friends. So, like, one called me on it the other day, and I says to him, "What's it? It doesn't matter, because I'm your friend anyways." Don't think he appreciated it. But that's classic what's it for you. Always taking offense to people not remembering his name, or respecting the sanctity of human life, or whatever. Don't ask how we got onto that topic. It was a pretty bizarre tangent even for me. Well, we're as small as we're gonna get. Unless you want to do that again, game. And it looks like no. So, I'm gonna try something I've been wondering about in this game, and I never got around to doing it yet. Right before I give it one more chance to grow. Huh? Ah, well. Okay, I'm gonna go see if you can go between the boats beneath Tower Bridge. It seems like a really weird place to put a hitbox, but hey, I'm small enough to do it, and I can get through. Nice! It's a really nice attention to detail. I'm surprised they put it in there. Ooh, and the Zeppelin's landed. Glad I wasted so much time screwing around. I remember this bit too. The Zeppelin takes me to the gear room. This is new. Game, how did I get down here? I don't think this is a good idea. Oh! Hey, Smashers! How are you doing? I'm gonna use a picture of you as a custom thumbnail. Oh, and just like that, the game decides that I'm done. Probably for the best, because now I'm done. Join us next time for the LSD kill screen, and until next time, goodbye!